All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about some things, huh? Lots of topics to talk about today. So, just to outline what we're going to go over, I want to talk about the Corey Sandhagen and Marlon Moraes fight, first of all. Well, not first of all. I'll talk about that at the end. I'm going to talk about the Tony Ferguson and Khabib getting booked for the 6th time. That's the main topic I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Khamzat Chimaev claiming that the entire welterweight division refuses to fight him, which I believe. Yeah, so if you like the channel, subscribe and ring the bell, and we'll get into this thing. So let's actually start with Khamzat Chimaev. Okay, so he's claiming that Wonderboy Thompson refused to fight him, and so did who's the other guy? And Chris Weidman. Yeah, that's good because he'll kick the shit out of Chris Weidman. Okay, that's not a good fight for Chris Weidman. And Wonderboy, I mean, that's a different. I don't know. I don't know enough about Khamzat Chimaev to say decisively that he'll run through Wonderboy. Wonderboy's historically very hard to take down, and his stand-up is obviously pristine. But I think that this is the situation Khamzat Chimaev is going to find himself in now, right? Where he wants a top-ranked opponent, and the top-ranked opponent is like, why would I fight him? They're like, he probably represents the biggest risk in the entire division. At least from what I've seen, I'm saying, like, from their position, they're like, at least from what I've seen, this guy is a monster, and he's unranked. So how do I advance my position by fighting him? Now, Chris Weidman would be smart to take that fight if he thinks he can beat him. But, and Chris Weidman just said that he thinks he can beat Israel Adesanya. So, if you think you can beat Israel Adesanya, that's, first of all, laughable. Okay? Laughable. There's no way. Here, let me flip the finder so I look into the camera for you guys. Yeah, Chris Weidman would get annihilated by Israel Adesanya. Let me just throw that out there, okay? That is a fight that I feel I would bet my life savings on that, okay? But Khamzat Chimaev, he's unranked, man. Dude, take the fight. That's if you win that fight and you want a title shot. The middleweight division is kind of all over the place, like Israel Adesanya already knocked out Whitaker, already knocked out Costa. Beat Romero. I mean, who's he gonna fight? You know what I mean? Like, honestly, I like the Thiago Santos fight. Thiago Santos said he would come back down to 185 and fight him. I love that fight. I love that fight. That would be really fun. Especially given how well Thiago Santos did against John Jones, right? Like, so he's fought a rangy fighter with, like, you ever looked at John Jones's legs? He's got spider legs, man. Like, his body is so disproportionate. Like, his legs are so long compared to his torso. Like, this is going to be one of these tangent videos. So I actually recently watched John Jones's very first fight in the UFC. It just, like, randomly popped up in my YouTube feed, and I watched it. It's crazy how inexperienced he was. He was like 6-0 going into that fight. And he looks like a completely different fighter. He still was doing like spinning elbows and stuff, but he was a baby. You guys should watch that fight. I can't remember the guy's name that he fought, but he won by decision. Anyway, but yeah, so Khamzat Chimaev, like, he just called out a welterweight and a middleweight, and both of them refused to fight him. I mean, he's in a tough spot. I think Israel Adesanya should fight him. I really do. I think Israel should be like, do the thing that he did with Romero. Oh, everybody wants to see what this guy's got. Cool, I'll fight him. Can you imagine how many pay-per-views that thing would sell? Like, that would sell some pay-per-views for real. But yeah, I mean, I don't know who he's going to end up fighting. I really don't. I feel like I had a dream that he got booked last night. As a matter of fact, I know I did. That's really bizarre. That is really bizarre. Not that I ever talk about my dreams on here, but I had a dream that I was in the room while he was signing his fight. I literally just remembered that. That's so weird. Anyway, neither here nor there. Yeah, so we'll see. The Damian Maia fight, there's nothing that exciting about that to me, personally. Obviously I'll watch it, but I don't know. There's nothing that has me jumping out of my seat for that one. Like, I want to see him fight someone that's real. I want to see him fight Whitaker, I want to see him fight you know, Masvidal, not Masvidal, because I don't want to, but, you know, one of these top guys, Colby or something. Anyway, but so moving on. So Tony Ferguson is booked, or is going to get booked to fight Khabib again if Khabib wins this fight. We'll see about that, okay? So, like, here's the thing is, Dana's saying that he's going to book this Tony Ferguson and Khabib fight, okay? Let me tell you right now, if the Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor fight happens and Conor dirt naps Dustin, Conor's getting that fight next, especially if Gaethje wins. But, like, either way, if he runs through Poirier, he's going to get that fight, and Ferguson's going to be left out in the cold again, which sucks for Ferguson, but that's just the way it is. I mean, it's the fight business, right? It's the fight business. Which event is going to sell more pay-per-views? Obviously, the Conor one. So, you know, but Conor, again, you know, I accept, but it has to be in 2020. Okay, well, did you really accept? And why is Dustin Poirier not talking about this? I don't understand. Like, why is Dustin Poirier not even making a statement? If Conor says he accepts, like, where are you at, bro? You don't want that fight? You don't want the fight? You don't want a rematch with a guy who dirt napped you in 90 seconds at a different weight class after now you've established yourself as one of the top 3 best guys in that division? Top 4 best guys? I don't understand that. I don't understand why Dustin Poirier is not talking about that. But I will say this. I, like everyone, should be very afraid of what happens if Tony Ferguson gets booked to fight Khabib, okay? So 4 times we had, like, natural, you know, the fight got canceled because of blah, blah, blah. And then the 5th time we had a global pandemic, okay? So I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility that they book it a 6th time and all of a sudden we find out that we're facing a fucking asteroid apocalypse, right? A little bit harder to deal with than a pandemic. So, obviously, everyone wants to see that fight. I think that there's a big risk in booking Tony Ferguson, because everyone knows that the Tony Ferguson and Khabib event is a monster event, right? Everyone knows that's a monster event. And if you book him against anyone else and he loses, then that fight goes away. He's lost once to Justin Gaethje in a war. That does not nullify. That doesn't even actually change. I bet you there will be an exact, you know, correlation between how many pay-per-views would have been sold for Khabib and Tony Ferguson and now. Like, I don't think the loss to Justin Gaethje has changed that number at all. I think they'll sell, you know, 1.5 million pay-per-views probably would be my guess. And but if he goes out and fights again and he loses, that's something different. That's something different. If he loses 2 in a row and then you know. But, I mean, listen, this is reality. If Khabib loses, he may end up fighting, you know, Tony Ferguson, right? If he wins, he may end up fighting Tony Ferguson. If he loses, he ends up fighting Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson, coming off a loss, can have a title shot. I mean, that's how long and strong his streak is. Like, there's no one who's going to complain about that. But again, Conor is the X factor, but Conor just, you know, you can't. I honestly, I can't even believe I'm saying this. You can't believe anything he says anymore. Like, you can't believe anything he says. Yeah, I'll take the fight, but it has to happen in 2020. Okay, cool. I mean, obviously, I just acknowledged that Dustin Poirier is the one who's being quiet on this. So, just somebody, let's shake this thing out. Like, let's shake it out. For fuck's sake, man. Yeah. And then now we can talk about Sandhagen versus Marlon Moraes. So I have said on here multiple times that Corey Sandhagen is my, like, sleeper pick in that division. Now, I know Aljamain Sterling ran through him, but man, Sandhagen is nasty, dude. He is nasty. I think he's going to win that fight. I do. I think he's going to win that fight. He is a nasty, nasty fighter. He's good on the ground. He's excellent on the ground. He's excellent on his feet. He's long. He's rangy. You know, he has a tattoo of, like, a fucking nightmare scene on his back. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm a big Sandhagen fan. Now, Marlon Moraes obviously is one of the most dangerous guys on his feet in the division, you know. So, you know, we'll see. Obviously, he can knock anyone out. Like, Marlon Moraes probably has the most, at 135, he's probably the most powerful, like, just power. I mean, if he kicks you, you're going night-night. You're going night. I would love to see him fight Cody Garbrandt, actually. That would be a great fight. But yeah, I don't really have anything to add, except that I think Corey Sandhagen's going to win that fight. But we'll see. So, anyway, if you like the channel, subscribe, ring the bell. Peace in the Middle East. Peace.